Welcome to ShiftWatch. I'm your host, Starbuck. In this episode, there's no doubt about the effects that astrological alignments have on sentient life. With Uranus moving into Gemini, increased activations will be taking place. Next, monitoring one of the largest transequitorial solar coronal holes anyone has seen and what planetary radio wave disruptions we should expect. Then, predicting earthquakes and volcanoes. In a time when it's too important not to be aware of these catastrophic events taking place, here's some advice on discerning prediction, fact from fiction. And finally, current elevated seismic activity across Japan, including earthquakes, tremors, and volcanic eruptions.
Hello and welcome to my channel, Green Line Goddess Tarot. This is a beautiful little check-in. We're just checking in because we've had some major planetary changes happening. I'm using a combination of my intuition, tarot, and astrology to do these readings. And we've just had the planet of revolution and change, radical change, Uranus, embracing the new, clearing out any kind of old debris, things that aren't serving us anymore, radical shocks, shifts, changes, revolutionary ideas, move into the sign of Gemini. So this is a huge shift, and this marks the final sense that something huge in the evolution of our planet has occurred. And so to support you through this, I've created a beautiful document where I've tuned in to the forces and the energies that we are moving through. The next 6 months are a critical turning point. We're moving and transitioning through these huge energies as the major planets, all the major outer planets are either shifting signs or going retrograde. So this beautiful document helps us move through these energies and gives some insight in as to what to expect and how to work well with these energies so that we're prepared and ready for the big changes that are happening next year. So this is a free download. It's a written download. The link is in the description box below. Love if you come and check this out. I usually pin the link to the comments as well, a free PDF download. So with these readings, I'm going to be concentrating and tuning into Uranus, the planet of change. And Uranus is moving into the sign of Gemini. And Gemini is our minds. So it's like radical shifts and changes with the way we're speaking, learning, teaching, understanding, thinking even. And Gemini is a sign that's ruled by Mercury. And so Uranus is actually the higher octave of Mercury. So this is where our minds are connecting to the higher consciousness. So with these readings that I'm doing for all signs, I'm connecting to this concept of as above, so below. So if we go as above, what is this higher consciousness, this higher energy that Uranus is connecting us to? This is the card that I've pulled for that. And then I'm going to look at what's happening on the 3D realm, on the human realm. And this is the central concept for all of the readings. So as the first card, I've been tuning into Uranus. There's a lot out there on YouTube, so I'm not going to repeat a lot of the same stuff that other people are saying. But instead, I've energetically tuned into Uranus, and I get this real sense that Uranus is opening up our third eye and our crown chakras. And so for some of you, your channels are really opening up here. This can feel overwhelming. It can feel like, oh, I've got so much going on. It can also equally feel like breakthroughs and feel really exciting. So we're going to explore what this means specifically for your sign further into the reading, but just as a general message, and I'm putting this intro at the start of all the readings. So if you're listening to multiple readings, you can feel free to skip this intro. But as above, I've pulled this card, weight of the world, boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry. And that is this Uranus energy of letting something go. It's something we've carried around for a very long time, and it's time for us to release it. It's no longer serving us. And for a lot of us, I'm getting the emotion anger. It's time to dissolve that anger, release it, let it go. Whatever happened in the past or whatever anger or resentment is even you're carrying around in the present, this sense that Uranus wants to bring us into a clearer, higher vibrational energy, a light. It's like a bright white light. What it does is it sheds layers of ego. It sheds old layers. So anything that's lower vibrational energy that is no longer serving us, it sort of gets dislodged and displaced. Now, this can feel unsettling. You can get agitated with it. It can also feel liberating. Ultimately, Uranus wants to free us and liberate us. So it's saying boundaries, let it go. Where have you taken on something where it's not yours and it's time to let it go? It's not yours to carry anymore.
Good morning, folks. Welcome, observers. Today we're going to hit some scientists whining, a look at stellar superflare activity, but the focus today is on the sun, its current activity, and what we're watching for in the next few days, including flaring and a geomagnetic storm. We're starting with the last 24 hours on our star, where we find the sun was moderately active, surging near the active region at the northern reach of the coronal hole, 2 M-class solar flares, but still nothing in the way of eruptions sending plasma towards the Earth. Let's start with the solar flares from earlier this morning, 2 smaller M-class events visible on the GOES X-ray flux, and they came from everywhere except where we might have expected. First was a combined eruptive signature from 2 active regions, and the second from a new sunspot group at the limb turning in on the south. Nothing from the bigger group up north, so the focus for flaring is shifting this morning. We're also keeping an eye on the solar wind. Phi angle flip yesterday has set the stage, and the coronal hole stream will be arriving tonight or tomorrow. The Phi angle flip has already preconditioned the Earth's magnetic field a bit with the magnetometer and the KP index showing a mild disturbance, bringing values up off the floor. Earthquake and volcano watch is still ongoing from the coronal hole, but now we've got the solar wind itself to watch for. G1 to G2 level events expected when it arrives. First article today, folks, solar scientists are whining like wild as the cuts to the U.S. science sector roll in. I can understand personal frustrations about specific projects, but they want to make it seem like all is lost. No. Every vital thing is still up and running and will stay that way, same like the National Weather Service. The peripheral pet projects, some of which do have value, are not vital, and often are following a path of bad science. Pay no mind to the budget cut crybabies. Everything is fine. Finally, solid piece here on stellar superflares with a focus on G-type stars like the Sun. While they caught flares of up to X1 million on other stars, they say a G5 star like the Sun has the maximum flare of about X1000. Once again, every 5,500 to 6,000 years. It's the same it's been reported before. It's at least 10 times bigger than the Carrington event from 1859, by the way, which scientists think would kill most of humanity due to the infrastructure loss if it happened today. Just a reminder, the Sun can go much, much bigger.
Don't follow false prophets. You can't predict earthquakes. You can't predict volcanic eruptions. And I was inspired because someone recently said that there's going to be a major volcanic eruption somewhere here on Earth. Most people do not realize that there is approximately 1,350 to 1,500 potentially active volcanoes here on Earth. And based on the data from USGS and the Smithsonian Global Volcanism Program, and other reliable sources, this number excludes submarine volcanoes along the ocean floor spreading centers, like, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which are harder to count due to their inaccessibility. Active volcanoes, about 500 to 600 of these volcanoes have erupted in historical time. In recorded history, with 40 to 50 erupting at any given time, and 40 to 70 erupting annually. The Smithsonian Global Volcanism Program, I'm all tongue-tied, reported 48 volcanoes with ongoing eruption as of May of this year, 2025. Most volcanoes are located along tectonic plate boundaries, particularly the Pacific Ring of Fire, which hosts about 75% of the world's active volcanoes, and roughly 450 to 713 volcanoes. Other regions include the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, East African Rift, and hotspots like Hawaii. As of the most recent data available through July 8th, approximately 47 volcanoes are currently erupting or in a state of ongoing eruptions worldwide. And that's according to the Smithsonian Institute Global Volcanism Program. This number reflects volcanoes with continuing eruptions, meaning they have had intermediate eruption events without a break of 3 months or more. However, only about 20 volcanoes are typically actively erupting on any given day, with activity including lava flows, ash plumes, or gas emissions. The Smithsonian and USGS Weekly Volcanic Activity Report for July 2nd through the 8th of this year, specifically highlights 21 volcanoes with reported activity, including 3 new eruptions, like Kurashima Maya, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, in Japan, Lobodi and Latobok, that's probably another name I'm butchering. Those 2 are in Indonesia. Notable examples include Killer Whale in Hawaii, which ended its 28th eruptive episode on July 9th, and others like Simaru, Dukono, Tsunomoshima, with ongoing activity.
Japan, a region renowned for its volatile tectonic landscape and dramatic geological activity, is once again drawing global attention. Nestled in the heart of the Pacific Ring of Fire, this area sits atop a major subduction zone, where the Philippine Sea Plate dives beneath the Eurasian Plate, giving rise to powerful earthquakes and a chain of active volcanoes. Historically, this region has witnessed some of Japan's most intense seismic and volcanic events, with names like Sakurajima and Aira Caldera etched into the annals of natural history for their fiery eruptions and destructive power. Recently, this already active landscape has entered a new and possibly unprecedented phase. A sudden swarm of earthquakes near the Takara Islands has raised alarms among scientists and authorities alike. These seismic tremors are not isolated events. They are occurring alongside the eruption or heightened activity of at least 3 significant volcanoes in the Kagoshima prefecture: Sakurajima, Suwanosejima, and Kuchinoarabujima. In an urgent response, Japan's Earthquake Research Committee convened an emergency meeting on July 4th to analyze what may be a broader geological shift in progress. The timing and concentration of these events are unlike anything observed in recent memory. Crustal movement measured at the Takarajima observation point showed displacements of nearly 1 inch northeast and more than 1.5 inches south within just a few days. According to Professor Emeritus Hayata Nao from the University of Tokyo, it is exceptionally rare to witness such significant ground movement over such a brief span, suggesting a powerful external force at work, likely tied to volcanic processes below the surface. Since the magnitude 5.6 quake on July 2nd, multiple tremors measuring above magnitude 5 have continued to shake the region, with some occurring just hours apart. These are not mere aftershocks, but appear to be part of an extended seismic swarm. The fact that these quakes are shallow and occur in a volcanic arc suggests a strong link to magma movement, rather than the usual tectonic stress shifts typically responsible for deep earthquakes. This clustering of earthquakes and volcanic activity could be more than coincidental. A groundbreaking study from the University of Miami previously identified a subterranean connection between Japan's Shinmoidake and Sakurajima volcanoes, located just over 13 miles apart. This research showed that eruptions at one volcano could directly influence the activity of the other, offering a compelling precedent for the kind of interconnected volcanic behavior now being observed across southern Japan. As we dig deeper into the unfolding events in southern Japan, it becomes increasingly evident that we might be witnessing more than just isolated geological occurrences. The earthquake swarm around the Takara Islands has not only persisted for more than 3 weeks, but has also intensified in both frequency and magnitude. Over 1,500 quakes have been recorded, with at least 11 exceeding magnitude 5. Unlike typical main shock-aftershock sequences, these quakes form a pattern characteristic of seismic swarms, clusters of similar strength events driven by non-tectonic forces, such as magma movement or the pressurization of subterranean fluids. This region's complex geological makeup further adds to the mystery. The Takara Islands belong to a chain of 12 small volcanic islands, part of the larger Ryukyu Arc, which stretches from Kyushu to Taiwan. Only 7 of these islands are inhabited, housing fewer than 700 residents. Evacuation poses a logistical challenge, taking over 12 hours by ferry. This isolation heightens the urgency of understanding the potential risks, as continuous ground shaking threatens the stability of the islands and the safety of their communities. Beneath this chain, the Philippine Sea Plate is subducting under the Eurasian Plate, a process that has sculpted a volatile landscape over millennia. The magma generated from this subduction rises through deep fractures, forming volcanoes and feeding seismic instability. The simultaneous activity of multiple volcanoes, Sakurajima, Suwano-Sejima, and Kuchinora-Bujima, within a relatively small geographical radius, strongly suggests a synchronized magmatic influence. It raises the question, could a deeper, regional-scale magmatic intrusion be underway? Supporting this theory, a 2018 study confirmed a magmatic connection between two major volcanoes via a shared underground reservoir. During an eruption at Kirishima, the Ira caldera previously assumed dormant, temporarily deflated, indicating a flow of magma between the two systems. This discovery challenged long-held assumptions about the independence of volcanic systems and emphasized the possibility of large-scale interconnectivity within volcanic arcs. If similar connections exist between the Takara swarm and the currently active volcanoes in Kagoshima Prefecture, we could be looking at a domino effect in real time. Regional stress redistribution caused by magma movement might be loosening the caps on other volcanic systems, potentially triggering new eruptions. This possibility adds a new layer of complexity to seismic forecasting.